Mr. Poole, would you please read the statement to bring us back into open session?
Chair Swigert, I move the record show that the only items discussed in closed session were those specifically cited in the motion to convene into closed session meeting and those lawfully exempted from statutory meeting requirements.
Is there a second? Moved by Mr. Poole and seconded by Mr. Lamonia. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We do not have any items resulting from closed session tonight that we need to vote on, so we will move on to the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. For tonight's invocation, we will observe a moment of silence. Afterward, I'll ask School Board Member Mr. McCormick to lead us in the pledge. Please stand as you are able.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There being no awards and recognitions this evening, we will move on to the hearing of citizens. During their allotted time, speakers should observe our rules of decorum and know that expressions of concerns and criticism on matters of school policy and operations is welcome. While the speaker's own comments are welcome, they may not play pre-recorded messages. Dr. Smith, are there any citizens who have requested time to speak this evening?
Yes, Chair Swigert, we have 8 citizens requesting to speak.
I want to thank those speakers who've signed up to address the board this evening. There are 2 ways that citizens can request time to speak at the meeting. They can call the clerk's office before 12 noon the day of the meeting, or sign up to speak prior to the start of the meeting. All in-person requests to speak must be submitted to the deputy clerk 5 minutes prior to the published meeting start time. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your allotted time is over, we ask that you promptly exit the podium. You may choose to sit in the boardroom if seats are available, but standing or sitting on the floor will not be permitted, and you may not block the exit doors. We would also like to ask that you refrain from any behavior that disrupts the meeting, including the use of profanity, applause, cheering, or jeering. Dr. Smith, please call the first speaker.
Yes, I'd like to invite speaker number 1 to the podium. If you'll please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Vic Nichols, Chesapeake. I'd like to honor Ahmed Ayad. Since COVID has come up again, in fall 2021, in 4 Massachusetts school districts with 18,000 kids, researchers found 44 potential cases of in-school transmission, including no infections of teachers or other staff members. CNN had written that teachers are so worried about returning to school that they're preparing wills. In reality, schools were among the safest possible place for students and teachers during COVID. In April of 2020, French researchers published a paper showing that an infected 9-year-old child had not transmitted the disease despite close interactions in the school. By August 2020, researchers in Spain and Sweden had confirmed that finding on a much larger scale. A couple of hours ago, the governor came and had a talk with Virginia Beach, and one of the things he mentioned was attendance being so very important. I had lauded Chesapeake several times for the amount of kids that they were taking to court to make sure that the parents were putting them in schools and staying in there. And I want to make sure that we're going to get right back on where we were and be high up there to make sure these kids are in schools. But one other question I have. How do we confirm that the kids in schools are who they say they are? In Lincoln, Nebraska, a 26-year-old attended 54 days of school at 2 schools. He was pretending to be a 17-year-old. There was a fraud investigation, and they arrested the guy, who was charged with 2 counts of sexual assault using an electronic device and 1 count of sex trafficking of a minor. Please, let's make sure that whoever's in school is who they say they are. Thank you.
Speaker number 2, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And if speaker number 3 is here, we have room up front for you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Eason Williams. I live in Chesapeake, and I am here to encourage teachers. Teachers, here's hoping that your first official full day was constructive and that you are at home and not still at school waiting for the custodians to tell you it's time to go. Here's hoping you didn't have to sit in the cafeteria or the auditorium or the library too long. And if you did, hopefully you carried a pillow to sit on. For some of you, the early morning hours were spent staring into space, listening to your principal and others go on and on and on, while visions of desk arrangements, posters, and wishing you could be in your classroom danced in your head. Knowing that the one poster you were able to put on the wall slid down before you could even get halfway down the hall to the meeting. Unless you used every teacher's secret weapon, that is. Then you won't have to worry about anything sliding. Teachers, in the days ahead, COVID will be the least of your worries. Therefore, if you know anything about prayer, pray when you wake in the morning, pray before you leave your house, pray on the way to school, pray when you pull up on the school grounds, pray before you get out of your vehicle, pray when you walk into the school, pray when you are walking to your classroom. When you reach your classroom, if possible, keep the lights off and lock your door. And take some time, if only 5 minutes, take time for you. Sometimes it may not feel like it and it may not look like it, but prayer really does work. Thank you.
Speaker number 3, it's your turn at the podium. And speaker number 4, we have space up front if you're here today.
Mary Murphy, Chesapeake, Virginia. Good evening, Superintendent Cotton and school board members and others. How many of you have actually viewed the Satanic Temple website? If you have, I expect that you would agree with me that the content, their mission, and religious rituals are unadulterated evil. I find it hard to believe that the after-school Satan Club spokeswoman actually embraces the tenets, but she must or she wouldn't be so zealous about bringing them to our schools and children. I respect her freedom of speech, but in our public schools to child audiences is not appropriate. Freedom entails responsibility. I find it lamentable that the majority of you have declared that it's acceptable for this philosophy to be an option for the children. It seemed that tolerance was yours and some of the Christian groups' justification for your recent decisions. Let Jesus take care of the wheat and the weeds was your claim. Well, Jesus exorcised people. He drove Satan out of them. He didn't plant him there. Don't be a sower of evil. There's too much already in our midst. The late Archbishop Fulton Sheen said, America is suffering from tolerance. Tolerance of right and wrong, tolerance of truth and error, virtue and evil, Christ and chaos. Please don't tolerate Satan and betray Jesus and the children. The father of lies is tricking the members of the Satanic Temple, and unfortunately, he's gaining ground on his fight to penetrate the hearts and minds of the Chesapeake School Board, the administration, the staff, and the students. Stop him. I've polled some parents and teachers. They're shocked to learn what the Satanic Temple stands for. So your decisions and approvals are assumed as proper vetting. I'm not convinced that you've all made the time to investigate the organization that you're endorsing. I'm pleading with you to become informed and to stand with God for the children. Deny any applications for the after-school Satan Club to meet in Chesapeake Public School facilities. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Speaker number 4, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And speaker 5, if you'll please come to the front row.
Good evening, I'm Robin Osborne. I always print my speech out the day of, and for some reason my computer wouldn't do it, so now I have to read like this, so please excuse me. I think we can all agree that the school board meeting was quite a long evening the last time we met, over 3 hours. There were many mixed emotions being displayed, and pressure was added due to the large turnout of the wrestling club. Everyone wanted to just move on. I understand how tired you all must be after working full-time jobs during the day as well, and you have families too. I get that. But because of the above, I feel the importance of the issue brought to light by Mrs. Dean after hearing the wrestling club speak was not given the justice or time needed to be processed and voted on fairly, being that it was at the end of the meeting. Specifically and fairly, Mrs. Dean made a subsidiary motion based on updated information that the administration consider making revisions of the school-affiliated clubs, that there needed to be reclassification of the groups we have, how the groups are defined, and what clubs sit under what classification, be it school-sponsored, school-affiliated, or non-exempt. They are not currently clear. So I was surprised to hear the answers of those of you who voted no to her proposal. Examples such as, we have clear and sufficient information as to what the definitions are. No need to define where we are. What we have currently defines what we need. Not to deviate from what we currently have, or that you are afraid of going down a slippery slope or accused of being political. Some of you stated this was your legal given advice, but I ask the legal team and you what it is that you are afraid of. The ACLU, man, I've said before, God will handle that part. We are not just asking for clarity and updated classification of clubs. We do not want to dispose of the current non-exempt clubs. We just want to have the Satan Club removed from our schools. Are you willing to set aside the fear to do the right thing? Maybe a fourth category of clubs could be created that only have the Satan Club under it, based on the city's response to the Satan Club's request for a summer club to meet at the Indian River Library. They turned them down, stating they have uniform policies which set forth the parameters necessary to assure events don't pose a threat to public health, safety, or welfare, and that organizations failing to comply are subject to having their facility usage canceled by the title of that category. It could be posing a threat to the health, safety, and welfare to the public. For this is exactly what the Satan Club does. Thank you.
Speaker number 5, it's your turn at the podium. And speaker number 6, if you're here, please come to the front row.
Good evening. My name is Adrienne Gardner, and I'm the mother of a Grassville High School graduate and a current Grassville High School sophomore. Today, I dropped my son off to pick up his school-issued personal computing device. It's a rite of passage. Today, I also learned that the personal communication device my husband and I bought my son will be prohibited this school year. Help me make sense of this contradiction. Like many, I was taken by surprise by this policy change. I was focused on my oldest graduation in June, her college prep tasks, and making the most of our family time this summer. This change in announcement timing seems sort of designed to maximize confusion, but it's also deeply flawed. I appreciate that the district wants to limit classroom distractions. That makes sense, particularly for the lower grades, but it makes zero sense for high school students who are on the cusp of adulthood and independence. An employer may send a text to adjust their work schedule during an emergency. A family emergency may need to be immediately communicated. That is no business of school administrators. Or maybe I just want to tell my son I love you because he's headed to Dollar General or Walmart or a party after school. Keep in mind that just today, a faculty member in North Carolina was shot dead at UNC. Kids are being traumatized by lockdowns on the regular. And if the last sound I hear from my child is a gasp through their Apple Watch, that's what I want. That's what I will cherish. I personally want to hear his last words, even if they're mere gasps. And if there's an active shooter nearby, regardless of how many hours it takes to clear that school, I want access to my child. I don't regularly call or text my child during the day, but when I do, it's important. Blanket bans like this don't make common sense. They throw it out the window. Thus, as for me and my house, we have no intention of following your ill-advised policy. Thank you.
Speaker number 6, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin. And Speaker 7, if you'll make your way to the front.
My name is Sean Loescher, and I'm a resident of Chesapeake. I want to speak about the religious bias that occurred at the last school board meeting from some of the board members, despite still voting to allow the non-exempt clubs. Kim Scott stated that we are having this discussion because an anti-religious atheist group came to Chesapeake with the sole intent of shutting down a children's Bible study. The After School Saint Club is here to offer an alternative to the Good News Club, period. Ms. Scott posted on Facebook December 2nd, 2022, expressing a stance of, quote, evaluating every option at our disposal, end quote, to block the Satanic Temple from exercising their religious beliefs. Ms. Scott stated Chesapeake families have wholeheartedly rejected and defeated that agenda that is made up in her mind. You're forgetting part of the reason for the First Amendment is to prevent the majority from oppressing the minority. This is religious bias. Amanda Dean asked for non-exempt clubs to be excluded from renting school facilities, but because you didn't plan on the unintended consequences of clubs you like getting kicked out of the school, you asked for a vote on subsidiary motion to reclassify the clubs you like so you can exclude the ones you don't care for. We can all see what you're doing, and it's illegal, and it's religious bias. That is why the lawyer told you not to do it. On a side note, please allow or show some respect when use the correct name of After School Satan Club and not what you have been calling them, the Satan Club. You wouldn't call the Good News Club the News Club or the Girl Scouts the Girls Club, etc. Norman Poole, you don't punish all 5 of your children because one is misbehaved. Exercising religious freedom is not misbehavior. And you would never tell a Christian that, would you? That is religious bias. Michael Lamona, you blame the issue of non-exempt clubs on members of the Chesapeake community who requested the club and then accuse them of having the sole intent of causing division and trepidation. You then go out of your way to specifically condemn this club. You also mentioned that you hope your God punishes people who don't agree with your religion. You also put your name on the Facebook post I just mentioned. This is religious bias. All these remarks are just from one meeting and are certainly not the only biased remarks that would have been made. School board members created this disturbance by posting to their social media followers last December, despite knowing that the Satanic Temple is legally allowed to meet on school property in Chesapeake. You could have just approved the application and let TST meet like every other religious organization. Thank you.
Speaker number 7, it's your turn at the podium. And Speaker number 8, if you'll please come forward.
My name is Steve Shearbaum. I'm from Chesapeake. I'm here once again to ask you to do what you can as a school board to ensure the After School Satan Club no longer meets on Chesapeake Public Schools property. I felt a great deal of shame to have been a Chesapeake resident at the last school board meeting. Upon your decision to keep all non-exempt clubs, the room erupted in applause. Students and their family members were able to keep their clubs they had grown to love and appreciate while allowing the After School Satan Club to continue to meet. It appeared to me that this community was a lot more passionate about wrestling than God. I'm really not sure how this and other actions will have this area avoid the just wrath of God. What is especially frustrating to me is that this board has only put forward 2 policy choices regarding non-exempt clubs, which are keeping all clubs or getting rid of all clubs. I've heard the expression many times that you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Can we at least get the baby out of the bathwater? The After School Satan Club is analogously feces in the water. I don't think there's a member on this board that thinks it is a good idea that this club meets. The only option you are willing to vote on is the decision to get rid of everything. I implore you to do your jobs and get rid of the problem, which is the After School Satan Club. It shouldn't matter if a minority of parents want their kids to go to this club. Parents' rights have a limitation. Are you not mandatory reporters if students are physically abused? It doesn't matter if the parents think they are doing the right thing by beating their kids to a pulp. It is the responsibility of the government to step in and take actions to avoid abuse. The After School Satan Club is ideological abuse. You have a responsibility to stop it as well, or at least ensure that it does not occur in a public space. To conclude, I'd like to share with you a story that a deacon of the Catholic Church told me about how he made his way from Cuba to America. He was a devout Catholic when the atheist communists took over Cuba. He said that the communist soldiers would storm Catholic churches and take the Blessed Sacrament out of the tabernacle, throw it onto the floor, and shoot it. Young men, acknowledging that the Blessed Sacrament is really Jesus Christ's body, would defend the host and give up their lives, as many were shot and killed by communists. This deacon was a young man in Cuba, and his family knew he would die if he stayed there, as it was only a matter of time before the atheists stormed his parish church. They moved him to the Pittsburgh area. When atheists take over, the first people persecuted are normally Catholics. The after-school Satan Club is indoctrinating children to disbelieve and count all religions irrational. Furthermore, the Satanic Temple hosts and promotes black masses, which are events that the Blessed Sacrament is stolen from a Catholic church and desecrated. If we continue to allow this club to meet, how do you think things will potentially turn out for me and my family? How do you think things will turn out for you? I've heard that the after-school Satan Club is expanding to other schools in this district. They are not going away. Don't be naive and hide behind your professed Christian faith while allowing the after-school Satan Club to meet. May God have mercy on us all in this city. Please do what you can to get rid of this club. Thank you.
Speaker number 8, it's your turn at the podium. Please state your name and city of residence before you begin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lanisha Smith from Portsmouth, Virginia. Tonight, I am speaking on behalf of Maureen School of Dance with regards to the residency requirement for building use. Local dance schools train students just as much or more than school athletic programs. Many students don't have the required athletic abilities to participate in school athletics or clubs. These students attend local dance studios because they feel included and are able to exercise, share friendships, and express themselves creatively. Without this type of after-school training, dancers wouldn't stand a chance of getting accepted to programs like the Governor's School for the Arts, where their talent represents Chesapeake, not to mention share their dance abilities with your arts programs like school musicals. Unlike school-sponsored organizations, dance schools provide their own space for weekly practices, but there is a need to rent stage space over a weekend well outside of instructional time. The annual recital is an opportunity for students to present their performance art to their family, friends, and community. And might I add, dance schools pay fair market rental fees, provide their proper insurance, and pay for security at this event. School board policy now requires 75% of the students to be residents of Chesapeake, including submission of a roster prior to approval. Is the 2023 craft fair limiting the vendors to 75% Chesapeake residents? What about the public that attends the craft event? I've been, and it's a we welcome all feel. Please let's keep that mentality in our community. This policy is unfair and lacking inclusion of the local community, considering that if you are located in the 23321 zip code, it only makes up roughly 7% of Chesapeake square miles. Western Branch is such a small bottleneck comparatively to the rest of Chesapeake. How can the percentage of participants living within the city lines outweigh a business's long-standing residency in Chesapeake where the owner is also a resident? For example, a dance school located in Great Bridge would have much better odds of accumulating a student body that is mostly Chesapeake residents just to have a better chance to rent Western Branch High School for their event. The dance studio I represent will be celebrating their 50th year in our community, with 36 of those years located in the middle of Western Branch on the 4-mile stretch of Portsmouth Boulevard. Their first recital in 1975 was held at the Chesapeake Demonstration School, which is now the E.W. Chodum Gymnasium, and the most recent recital was at Western Branch High School this past May. We have an incredibly diverse student body, a wonderful melting pot of ages, sizes, shapes, and skin tones. Geographically speaking, we have students who are Chesapeake residents, as well as equal parts from Suffolk and Portsmouth. Also a handful of families, 5 at the moment, that drive from Cortland, Hampton, Ivor, Virginia Beach, and Windsor. These families travel quite a distance every week, sometimes multiple times a week, passing other dance studios along the way to attend classes at my little dance school. I think that is a huge compliment, not to mention it brings families weekly into our city, using our restaurants, gas stations, and shops. Thank you for your time.
This concludes our speakers for this evening.
Thank you for sharing your comments. Our practice is to receive information, however, we do not usually engage in dialogue, and that is our intent tonight. If appropriate and not already provided, someone from the superintendent's staff will evaluate your concern and provide a response. We will now move on to the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Moved by Mr. Lamonia. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Boone. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Dr. Smith.
Motion carries with all board members present voting yes.
We are now moving on to the information agenda. The first item is the readiness report. Dr. Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. This evening, since we're preparing for school next week, I decided to do a readiness report to share with our parents, guardians, and members of the Chesapeake Public Schools community all the work that's taken place over the summer. As the summer days wane and the back-to-school season approaches, we can't contain our excitement to welcome you and our students back to Chesapeake Public Schools. That sounds better. Community is at the heart of our mission, and outreach initiatives do not pause over the summer. A lot of people think that we take the summers off, and I have to tell you, we're extremely busy during the summers as well. Just this month, we held our annual Get on the Bus event. Several board members were able to attend. We've also developed a new resource for families called Peak Parent University, which we're excited about. It's aimed at empowering parents to actively participate in their child's educational journey. This valuable resource acts as a living document listing family engagement opportunities that will occur throughout the year, including the 2 upcoming events you see listed on the slide. We hope parents will mark their calendars and make time to join us at these events that we'll be hosting throughout the year. Our teachers and administrators have been busy this summer participating in a journey of continuous growth and learning, engaging in enriching professional development opportunities this summer. As you can see, we have offered our administrators and teachers many different opportunities to hone or learn a new skill. These professional development opportunities allow our educators to be informed about best practices and innovative strategies when planning lessons. And our expert educators have diligently revised the curriculum to maintain a strong focus on the fundamental principles that foster a well-rounded education, and we have taken significant steps to ensure that it aligns seamlessly with the Virginia standards of learning. This summer, the Department of Teaching and Learning even led principals and assistant principals through hands-on, inquiry-based science instruction that you see pictured here, and discuss ways to support teachers using valuable curriculum resources. We are proud to introduce new instructional units and assessments on Canvas. Just as a reminder, Canvas is our new learning management system that we're moving to this school year, and we spent all last year preparing for this transition. Additionally, with great excitement, we announced that we have installed state-of-the-art flat panels in every classroom, which is incredible. Every classroom across the school division now has a flat panel box light projector, really large TV projector in their classroom, but it's so much more than that. These will allow teachers to facilitate a more interactive and engaging learning experience for our students. In order to support these technology upgrades, we continue to make ongoing network updates, improving in the quality of service and providing higher performing connectivity within our schools. Over the summer, our dedicated teams have been hard at work making sure that our facilities are in top shape. Beyond standard facility maintenance performed in all of our buildings, which is a big part of the summer, these efforts also include auditorium renovations at Great Bridge and Crestwood Middle Schools. Additionally, at Crestwood Middle School, our students there, our Falcons, are going to be surprised to see we've repainted classrooms, resurfaced chalkboards, added new innovative 21st century furniture to all of their classrooms to facilitate interactive learning experiences, and we even replaced the track. We also conducted partial replacement of the HVAC systems at Hickory Middle, Hugo Owens Middle, and Cedar Road Elementary systems to maintain a comfortable and conducive learning environment. As part of our unwavering commitment to safety, we announced at a previous board meeting, actually our last board meeting, that we have partnered with the City Sheriff's Office to provide support in our elementary schools. We've also increased safety and efficiency with the expansion of the ID badge program. All elementary school students will use their assigned ID badge throughout the school day as it captures bus ridership, facilitates ease in school meal purchases, allows students to check out school library books, and captures attendance information. In addition, we have distributed 1,100 security radios, accomplishing a 100% radio replacement at each school. Our team has grown as we welcome new members into the Chesapeake family. I'm happy to report that as one of Chesapeake's largest employers, we are entering this school year with a vacancy rate of less than 3%. Our Human Resources Department has worked hard this summer, hosting multiple job fairs using innovative recruitment strategies. That being said, we are still hiring. So help us spread the word. Our areas of greatest need are elementary teachers, custodians, cafeteria staff, and bus drivers. But rest assured, we have a plan in place for the start of the school year, and we appreciate the support of our families as we work to ensure a smooth opening next week. The Department of Transportation is thrilled about the new ID badges and the important addition to our safety protocols. Our dedicated transportation team has meticulously prepared routes to be as efficient as possible. To guarantee the safety and reliability of our bus fleet, our experienced maintenance team has conducted thorough, standard preventative maintenance on each bus. These proactive measures help us identify and address potential issues, ensuring that our buses are ready to roll, no pun intended, on the first day of school. We are thrilled to introduce our new district and schools websites to provide an engaging and intuitive experience for our parents and community members. We're also excited to share that there's an app for that. We are putting the finishing touches on an integrated mobile app that will enhance accessibility and streamline communication. We are also happy to share that we have launched Amplified, the Chesapeake Public Schools podcast that aims to share the stories behind our story and connect our community. Make sure to subscribe today. The first episode is me, so I'm sure you'll be very impressed. I'll tell you in advance, you probably won't be. All right, but it was fun. The team was also busy this summer updating our student handbook, ensuring a comprehensive and transparent guide that promotes clear communication between the district, students, and parents. Any new information is provided front and center, including information regarding our new district cell phone policy. We hope you'll take time to check it out. Which brings me to a few important reminders for our parents to ensure a smooth opening next week. To ensure this smooth transition to the start of the school year, we need your help. Ensuring accurate enrollment records is crucial for a smooth start to the school year. We encourage all parents and guardians to take a moment to verify their child's enrollment information online. This step helps us maintain up-to-date records, including emergency contact and important medical information. And all of our parents need to do this each year. It's a very important step. Your prompt attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. We also ask that you review the student handbook with your student. It's important for our parents to go over that handbook with their child to make sure that they understand what's acceptable at school. In particular, we ask that you review what your students should and should not bring to school. This is something that we've been continually reminding students and parents about what's acceptable to bring to school and what is not. So please assist us in that regard. Most importantly, if you qualify, please apply for free and reduced lunch. We encourage eligible families to complete the application online or at school to ensure that no child goes without a nutritious meal. Thank you so much for your attention to all these important back-to-school updates and announcements. We hope you are just as excited as we are to be back, and you can print back-to-school signs for the first day photos on our website, and we'd love it if you'd share those smiles with us on social media using the hashtag first day CPSVA. And again, we have that on the signs as well. We can't wait to see you on September 5th. Madam Chair and members of the board, we are ready to start school next week, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
I see no questions. So the last item on the information agenda is proposed school board policy revisions. Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Chair Swigert. As is our typical process and in accordance with recent legislative changes, we have several policy revisions to share with you tonight, and I am happy to introduce our Supervisor of Policy and Research on Mrs. Fallon Graham's team. This is Dr. T. Bunch-Boney. She's here to present an overview of these drafts for your consideration. So without further ado, Dr. Bunch-Boney.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Swigert and members of the board. This summer, we have reviewed 54 bylaws, policies, and regulations combined, and are proposing major revisions to 19 policies. Maintaining an up-to-date policy manual is a top priority. The reviewed policies had only minor grammatical revisions or updates to legal references. The policies you see here are being presented with proposed revisions. All revisions are in response to recent legislative changes from the Virginia General Assembly. I will present the highlights of the proposed changes. However, complete versions of proposed changes have been uploaded to board docs for your review. Revisions to Bylaw 2-34 come as a result of amendments to the Code of Virginia, adding members of appointed school boards to the list of persons for whom the Virginia Conflict of Interest and Ethics Advisory Council is required to provide certain training sessions. Revisions to Policy 4-12 come as a result of the amendments of the Code of Virginia. However, we already meet and exceed the expectations. The Code of Virginia now requires a standardization of public notice requirements that impacts notice provided regarding the district's annual budgetary process. Revisions to Policy 6-19 come as a result of amendments to the Code of Virginia, requiring the superintendent or superintendent's designee to grant waivers to facilitate the on-time graduation of children of federal employees serving under orders pursuant to Title 22 or 50 when specific conditions are met. Revisions to Policy 8-09.1 come as a result of amendments to the Code of Virginia, requiring the inclusion of solicitation as a conviction that bars employment and contract work that requires direct contact with students on school property during school hours or school-sponsored activities in public schools. Revisions to Policy 8-54 come as a result of amendments to the Code of Virginia, extending unpaid medical leave for employees who serve as organ donors. Revisions to Policy 8-56 come as a result of amendments to the Code of Virginia, extending military leave from 15 to 21 days. Before I conclude, I would like to bring to your attention that revisions were made to the accompanying regulations presented tonight. As you are aware, regulations do not require action from the board, but are provided for reference. These items can be found in the additional resources section of tonight's agenda. As long as there are no board members' concerns, these policies will be added to the consent agenda for our next meeting. Do you have any questions?
I see no additional questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
There being no items on the action agenda, we will now move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cotton.
Thanks, Madam Chair and members of the board. I did a spotlight with the readiness report, so I just have a couple announcements that I do want to share with the community. First of all, certainly excited for the board members to join members of my cabinet in visiting schools next week when our students return. I know we're going out to schools on Thursday. This is always an exciting time, and we hope you will all be able to join us, welcoming students and staff back to school next week. And also as a reminder to families, we are still experiencing a bus driver shortage. As I alluded to earlier, we are much better off this year than we were last year at this time. But we still are facing shortages, so we are asking for patience and continued assistance with families transporting their children to and from school if you are able to do that. So we would appreciate that support. Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Cotton. Last on our agenda this evening is board member items. Does any board member have an item to bring before the group? Dr. Walker?
I just wanted to say really quickly, welcome back to our teachers and staff. I know that this week can be super stressful for you guys, and I hope, like one of our speakers said earlier, that none of you are still at school. It's getting close to when you would get kicked out, so I hope you're at home now. But if anyone's watching, I just want to encourage you to have a good week. And remember, I know that we always put our students first, but part of that means taking care of yourself too. So find some time for you, and I'm wishing you a successful back to school.
Seeing no other board member items, I do want to wish a very happy birthday. Today, Ms. Darlene Gorman is spending her birthday with us, so we hope that you have a very happy birthday week. And with that, we will call this meeting adjourned.